Hindustan ki jai.
All three of them don't text me saying they're going to be late. No.
Brajananda, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. VIP guest? No.
Yes, speaker.
Welcome.
This is our humble abode.
The humble abode of our humble self. Now the humble Mahotsaha Prabhu.
Most humble. Most humble.
Still is humble.
He's so selfish.
I'm the most humble.
Humble self will do it.
Look at us.
Oh,
Humble.
so
We can go have them for easy. Can you give me something? Give me a massage. Can you give me a massage? Give you whatever you want.
Downstairs.
No,
Yeah, downstairs.
There's a mat in the front.
In the massage table, he lays down like his class.
yeah. Can you arrange for that?
did someone get the garland?
No. It's not. Alright, reading from Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Gati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utafpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishravamsya Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Mutam Tam Sujivam Sadvaitam Savasutam Vaishana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Tamsya Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Jaitam Shruto Panguram Manda Matirgiti Masarva Sapadam Bhujo Radha Madana Mohana Divya Vindranya Kalpadrumada Shimadatna Agara Simhasana So Shimadatha Shivagonu Devo Prastal Bisheli Mano Swarami Shrimada Saram Vivam Sibada Patasita Kashimenu Sana Gopir Gopinada Sestana Tapta Kachna Govandi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hariti Vanchaka Apaturubhyasya Vasandho Vyavasya Vaitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutvaishnavate Bhakti Vikasa Swamiti Namane Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutvaishnavate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Vishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Prativasham Pangam Langaitegi Chittapada Mahamande Shri Gurum Dintarana. Offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, the deliverer of the most fallen souls, whose mercy enables the lame to cross mountains and enables the dumb to become eloquent speakers. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse number 5. Dishtaketush Chekitana Kashirajash Sha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bojash Cha Shaibyash Sha Nara Pungava Dishtaketush Chekitana Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bodascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Drishtaketushchekitana Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Drishtaketushchekitana Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha
Drishtaketushchekitana
Kasirajascha Viryavan
Purujit Kunti Bhojascha
Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha
Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Drishtaketushchekitana Kasirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha
Drishtaketushchekitana Kasirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha
Drishtaketushchekitana
Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha
Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Drishtaketu Chekitana Kashiraja also Viryavan very powerful Purujit Kunti Bhoja Cha and Shaibhya Cha and Narapungavaha Hero in Human Society. Translation. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaibhya. Yuddhavanuscha Vikranta, Uttamojascha Viryavan, Saubhadro Draupadeyascha, Sarva Eva Maharataha. There are the mighty Yuddhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Asmakam tu vishishtaye tani bodha dvijottama nayaka vamasainyasa savnartam tan bravimite. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Bhavan Bhishmasya Karnasya Kripasya Samatim Jayaha Ashram Vikarnasya Somadattis Tataivacha. There are great personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Purport. Duryodhana mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana, Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya, and Somadatti or Bhurishrava is the son of the king of Bahlikas. Karna is the half-brother of Arjuna, as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. So here, one may ask, what reason is there for us to learn all these different names of these various people who were associated in this particular battle 5,000 years ago? So the Acharyas, especially Srila Prabhupada, gives the reason, Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe, that, this is, everything that is somehow or other connected to Krishna has a lot of value. For someone who's really, really proud of their country or something, like, they find a small piece of leather, and like, if I go and tell them, hey, here's a piece of leather, it wouldn't matter much. But here's a piece of leather that was connected to the gun that killed the last enemy standing for your neighboring country. So that leather will be more valuable for them than anything else in the world. So similarly, these great heroic fighters, they are very powerful kings, and all of this is important because ultimately it's connected to Krishna's plan to like cut down all the different opposing elements of the earth. When Krishna comes down, he has two reasons: Pavitanaya sadhana vinashaya dushkritam. So he's protecting all those who are devotees of him, and he's also destroying all these other opposing elements that were there, that were creating a disturbance in human society. He wanted to wipe out all these great forces because Kali Yuga was just about to begin, and it said that like 1 or 2 days after the Mahabharata war began, Kali Yuga set in, because as Kali Yuga set in, slowly the morals of the soldiers went further and further down. For example, Bhima had a son called Gatotkaja, and they were fighting. The fight was going on even at night, and and then again the pastime goes on how Gatotkaja made Karna use a weapon that was meant specifically to kill Arjuna, but he used it on Gatotkaja. But like you can see that as the time went on, slowly but surely the presence of Kali became more and more prominent in the war. All these reasons, all these fighters that are mentioned here are mentioned for very particular reasons, and they have like very specific reasons that Duryodhana is mentioning them, because we need to understand that Duryodhana was a very like a great diplomat and very like great demon, and we can understand here. Over here he says, Tanni Bhoda Dvijottama. Dvija Uttama. Dvija means twice born, Brahmana. Uttama means the greatest. So here he refers to Dronacharya as the best of the Brahmanas. But here then we see just a few verses back, he says in verse number 3, O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by intelligent disciple Drupada. So just in text number 3 we see that Duryodhana is actually criticizing his own guru. He's saying that what sort of a Brahmana are you that you couldn't discriminate? You couldn't realize that this person Drupada, who you taught, is going to kill you. You knew that this person Drupada is going to kill you. But, what did you say? Drishtadyumna. Yes, the son of Drupada. You know the son of Drupada, Drishtadyumna, is going to kill you. But you still taught him. What sort of a fool are you? So he is criticizing his own spiritual master. But then over here, he's again slowly changing and he's glorifying him. Oh, best of the Brahmanas. Let me tell you, like you're so great. You're the best of the Brahmanas. You've come here to save us all. Why is Duryodhana changing this? Because he wanted to utilize Dronacharya to the fullest extent. He wanted to make sure Dronacharya didn't take any offense. And this example can be considered that of a bad son. A son, what he usually does is he simply criticizes his father all the time. He says, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. Some of us maybe can think of our own lives, how as bad sons we would criticize our own parents, although they're doing so much for us. They constantly criticize their father, but the only time they glorify their father is when they want something from the father. I myself remember doing this so many times. I would constantly criticize my father, but when I wanted something from him, then I would glorify him. You see, so like this quality, it's maybe present in us in minute quantities, but this was Duryodhana, one of the greatest demons. So he utilized this. He was a great diplomat. So he went up to Dronacharya, and now he's revving him up in a different way. He's saying, wow, the best of the Brahmanas. And now let me tell you, this is what the demons always do. They always try to calculate everything down to the bone. Like, okay, so he did this, and if I do like this, it'll be like that. That he was just like, there was this, this pastime where, Krishna, Duryodhana wanted to invite Krishna to his house. And, he wanted to invite Krishna, and he arranged like the best palace and the best food and the best feasts and all this and that. And he thought that, if Krishna accepts my offer, then he can't reject my proposal for him to give me military support. So then Krishna, instead of going to Duryodhana's house, he goes to Vidura's house. And Vidura's wife, instead of feeding Krishna the banana, she starts feeding him banana peels out of ecstasy, and Krishna even eats those banana peels out of love. So Duryodhana was trying to figure out, he was trying to calculate, how am I going to manipulate the situation in my favor. That's the typical nature of one who's a demon, that he likes to see, how can I manipulate the situation in order for it to suit my own interest. What can I do now? What can I go say to this person? What can I go say to that person? If I say this to this guy, then he'll probably turn on my side. So you can see, Duryodhana was nicely, see, this person is like this person is like this. But now hold on, look at what I got. Look at all these people, all these great soldiers, all these great warriors who are ready to simply lay down their lives for my sake. Right? And then you can also see that is the quality of a bad disciple. But here's the quality of a bad guru also. Many acharyas have said that actually the fall down of Brahmanism has started from Dronacharya. See, Dronacharya knew that the Kauravas and Duryodhana, they were on the wrong side. But he felt obligated to fight with them. Why? Because he ate their salt and he took their monetary help. But a Brahmana, he's a Brahmana, he's also their guru. A guru he can accept whatever, but he doesn't have to choose, he doesn't have to feel dependent on them. The qualification of a guru is that he's fully dependent on Krishna. There's a very famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita, Ananya Shintayanto Mam, Yajana Paripashate, Desham Nityabhyuktanam, Yoga Shema Mahamiham. That a great spiritual master is fully, a person who fully and constantly meditates upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna will carry what he lacks and he'll preserve what he has. That's the qualification of a great devotee. A person should be a guru only if he can liberate his disciples. Guru na shashat. A person should not be a guru if he cannot accept disciples and give them liberation. If he accepts disciples but he can't give them liberation, that's an immediate disqualification of a guru. Such an example of a guru we can see is one of Shukracharya, where although he saw that this person is Vishnu, this great person, this Vamana, is actually Vishnu, and he's come to ask my disciple to surrender unto him, but I'm going to instruct him not to surrender unto him. I'm going to tell him this, I'm going to tell him that, and I'm going to try to manipulate the situation in such a way. Right? Shukracharya, the word Shukra means semen, and Acharya means teacher. So he is the leader of propagating semen. He's a leader, he's a seminal Acharya coming from the seminal line. He's not propagating Krishna consciousness. He's propagating how you can live in the material world happily. And these are examples of a bad guru. And another thing is that, so Dronacharya, he didn't have faith that Krishna will protect him. He had more faith in the monetary benefits that he gets from his disciples. You see, when there's a great disciple, who's a very influential and powerful person, and he chooses someone to be his guru, the guru should not give a fig about this person's wealth and aristocracy and this, that, and the other thing. But those who are false gurus, they say, oh wow, here's my great disciple. Let me water the philosophy down in order to please him. Let me glorify him in front of everyone else. So I can make sure I'm secure, that I can make sure that I'm the guru, so I can enjoy the fruits of whatever my disciple has to offer me. Let me be like that. That we have Srila Prabhupada, he had many influential disciples, Ambarish, he had Amrish Prabhu, he had so many, like George Harrison was sort of his disciple, John and all these, but Prabhupada never compromised the philosophy. Yoko Ono and the creepy Yoko Ono and John Lennon, they came up to Srila Prabhupada and they asked him, can you please give us a blessing that we can stay together forever? Please give us his benediction. Prabhupada said, what nonsense are you talking? I'm not going to give you this sort of benediction. The benediction he gives, you can go to Vaikuntha to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. but I'm not going to give you this benediction because it's nonsense. Prabhupada didn't care about influence, about all the great so-called influence, because he's directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sure, John Lennon might have been a very influential person at that time, but Krishna is the most influential person all the time. You know, who cares about John Lennon now? I meet so many kids. You know John Lennon? No. You know George Harrison? No. Right? You show them chant and be happy. They show them, you know this guy? No. Like, you really don't know John Lennon? I don't. You know, but Krishna is always famous. Krishna has been famous, you know, before John Lennon ever came. Krishna will continue to be famous way after John Lennon is gone. And that's proven to be the case because Krishna's glories are constantly sung. So the bona fide Guru is constantly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because he's in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he doesn't care. You know, if Dronacharya was really fully absorbed, understanding, you know, in Krishna consciousness, he wouldn't side in this adharmic battle. He wouldn't side. He wouldn't show favors to this Duryodhana. And he wouldn't. So if he accepts the salt, so what? You know, you can just like when it's time to do what's right, you have to do what's right. You know, and we have this book called Science of Self-Realization that we distribute. On the soft cover of the book, if you turn to page number 63, there's a section called Separating the Saints from the Swindlers. And you know, here you can separate the saints from the swindlers, you know. Because like, you know, if Dronacharya was really a great saint, if Dronacharya was meant to uplift the consciousness of his disciples, he wouldn't water it down. He would speak up against Duryodhana, but he didn't. He just stuck on. The next verse, Duryodhana mentions, first he mentions great personalities like you, and then he mentions Bhishma. But Bhishma is way more senior than Dronacharya, and Bhishma is an Atirati. There's different levels of fighters that's mentioned in Shastra. Hey, Hare Krishna. Yes, there's different levels of fighters that are mentioned in the Shastra. One is called a Rati, is one person who can fight like a few charioteers. Another person is called Maharati, one who can fight like thousands of charioteers. And another level called Atirati. And Atirati means a warrior who can fight with unlimited number of chariot warriors. So all these people must have been Maharathis, but Bhishma was an Atirati. And Atirati he's the greatest fighter. But still, he keeps you and then Bhishma. Why? Because he's manipulating the situation. He wants Drona to feel like I'm the most important person here, so let me not take offense to this, that, and the other thing, you know. So if I do take offense, then where will I be valued so much, right? There's this famous story in Bhakti Siddhanta's book called Upakhyana Upadesh, where there's two landlords, and the one landlord is finding it hard to keep servants in his house. So then the one landlord, to the other landlord, he says to the landlord, you know, I'm finding it so hard. How can I keep these people to continue working for me? He said, you know what, for 6 months, don't do anything. Make them work the least amount that they could, and just give them balam rice and ghee, basmati rice, like some really good quality rice with some ghee. And you keep feeding them like this for 6 months. And after that, you keep pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. And even if they leave, they're going to come back to you. And like, you know, and then like, you know, so 2 years later, he meets him, so what happened? So he said, it worked, you know, and these people, they come back saying, oh, Gurudev, you know, like, no, not Gurudev, but oh, Master, you know, I never found anyone like you, I have some affection for you, this, that, and the other thing, but they come back with the balam rice and ghee. So similarly, and the story ends, all glories to balam rice and ghee, you know. So similarly, like, you know, in our society, like, you know, we see like someone is given a position, oh, you become Sankirtan leader, oh, you become this, oh, you become temple manager, you become treasurer, you become this, that, and the other thing, right? But like, you know, some people are qualified, but some people are given these positions just so they don't leave, right? If you just left the society, right, and you just walk down the street, like, you know, into the normal society wearing your saffron clothes and a stick in your hand, no one gives a... Who cares, you know, a weird dude in a weird dress with a stick in your hand, you know, so what do they know about sannyasis, right? So, similarly, these people feel like that, right? Dronacharya, if I didn't listen, if I didn't, you know, dance the dance of like, you know, what my disciple is saying, you know, how will I, who will protect me, who will take care of me, Right? These are all political intrigues that go on in this day and age also. Like, this person glorifies this person in order to get something from him. And it's always like a business exchange. There's no factual loving relationships actually. And then there's different personalities mentioned here, right? So Bhishma, the reason that Duryodhana mentions Bhishma is because Bhishma, he knew that Bhishma had so much affection for the Pandavas, right? When the Pandavas' father Pandu was killed, practically speaking, Bhishma played a great role in their growing up. So he said, see, although you have affection for them, you're on my side, so you better fight for me, right? So this is the nature of a demon, that he will use anyone and anything in his sense gratification. In order to please his own senses, he will bring anyone, even up to the level of utilizing his own guru. You see, Duryodhana, a shameless fellow, he is using his own guru in his sense gratification. You're my guru and I want you to satisfy my senses like this. And see, that shows that the qualities of an unbonafide guru and an unbonafide disciple. You see? Then he uses Karna. Because Karna, he knew that Karna really doesn't like Arjuna. And Karna, if he killed Arjuna, the whole battle would have been won. So he's like, getting him like, riled up and fired up and, like, let's go, let's kill this Arjuna and like, let's get fired up. And then the other two people that he mentions are Kripa, it means Kripacharya, and Ashwatthama. So in the whole of Mahabharata, there were only like 3 Brahmanas, and these 3 Brahmanas are Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and Ashwatthama. So the reason he glorifies Kripa and Ashwatthama is because he knows that because they are Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas won't kill them, the Pandavas won't kill them. So he wanted to see if he could break their dharmic and their chastity to Dharma. Dharma means that the occupational duty of a particular person in accordance to the Supreme Personality of God, his desire. So that's the nature of a demon. He's going to push you and push you and push you to break your vows. He's going to push you and push you and push you to like make you do something that that's against what you want to do. That's what bad association does. I remember I met this one guy in Grand Central one time, and he was like just recovering from a drug, from some like crazy drug thing that he went through, and he was telling me that, man, it all started off with like, with this girl, and she told me, with a great smile on her face, she told me, what's the worst thing that could happen? And like 5 years of his life just went by, just by being addicted to that drug. So that is the value of bad association, that demons, they get you into that association. What's the worst thing that can happen? Push the line a little further, push the line a little further, the next thing you know, you committed so many atrocious activities. Everything comes from bad association, everything comes from association. Good habits come from good association, bad habits come from bad association. So like Duryodhana is pushing them to like try to see how can they break their dharmic principles, how can they break their principles so they themselves can be considered a demon and I'll be the greater demon. That's the nature of the demons. That's like they try to get you on their level and then crush you. So that's what he was trying to do. That's why he mentions Kripa and Ashwatthama. So Dronacharya is also a Brahmana, but we see that he's killed in the battle because this Sujumna particularly took birth to kill Dronacharya. And then another person that's mentioned is Vikarna. The reason Vikarna is mentioned is because in the whole episode where Draupadi was being disrobed, what happened was that Vikarna was the only person who stood up. There was like a whole assembly, and this is like going back a little bit in the battlefield, Mahabharata history. That one of the main reasons that the battle was taking place was because the wife of the Pandavas was insulted, and the way she was insulted was they were trying to disrobe her. So that time when the disrobing was going on, Vikarna was the only Kaurava who stood up and said, this is adharma, I can't stand this, and he bravely spoke up for the Pandavas and spoke against the Kauravas. And because he spoke like this, the Dhritarashtra could understand that what he's doing was wrong. You see? So then Duryodhana is saying, hey you, I know you Vikarna, you have a soft corner for them, but you are my brother. and I want you to be on my side. I want you to, without showing any mercy, just kill them. And Bhurishrava also, like, there's a different history of, like, he's a great victor, he's a great fighter, and he never lost a battle. So this is what demons do, that they come, they see a particular situation, they see how they can exploit it, and they exploit it to the fullest, right? And then you either come on their side and commit activities which are not so beneficial in your path of self-realization, or you stand up against them and they want to crush you. So that is the nature of this whole world. That's the nature. Especially the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, it speaks about the social application of Krishna consciousness. That if we simply stick to following the principles given by our acharyas, no matter what the society is like, where we are, how we are, if we simply stick to the principle, like it says that one who follows Dharma is protected by Dharma. So if we simply follow the Yuga Dharma, if we simply follow our Dharma of propagating Krishna consciousness, we can be very confident that that our propagation of Krishna consciousness, because of our propagation of Krishna consciousness will protect us. So I'm going to stop here if there's any questions that come. Yes.
One for class. I just wanted to point out a couple of things that I thought were unique points. So we hear all these names that Duryodhana is listing. One of the points, he didn't list the Pandavas' names.
Right.
Because everyone knows already that the Pandavas are so powerful, they're so famous. Another thing is he thought he has so many great warriors on his side that he can win the fight.
Yeah.
They're all so dedicated to me, and they're all so strong. Like, see how we got Maharathis, they got Atrirathis, well, their strength is limited, our strength is unlimited, And another thing is Duryodhana, when he was gathering his armies, he went to see Krishna, and Arjuna went to see Krishna at the same time. And Duryodhana was thinking, well, if I can get Krishna to fight on my side, then I'll have, more power. I'll have more of a leverage, and if I get to him first, then I will surely win. So he got there. Arjuna was there too, and Krishna opened his eyes. He saw Arjuna first, right?
Yeah.
His
So
feet.
Duryodhana was massaging his hand, and Arjuna was massaging Krishna's feet.
So even though Duryodhana got there first, he saw Arjuna first. And so he had to please both of them. And he had said, okay, so one of you can have my Narayan army, this huge army of 4 armed, basically invincible soldiers, or Krishna himself, but he said, but whoever has me, I won't fight. So Duryodhana, he got the first pick. Oh no, he got second pick. Arjuna said, I'll take you, and Duryodhana was thinking,
what a fool, man.
I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes. Okay, yeah, I'll take the army, no problem. And he felt even more confident at this point, But the moral of the story is, no matter how many strong warriors he had on his side, because Krishna favored the other side, he was on the other side, doesn't matter if he fights or not, they were going to win. And they tried to warn, so many people tried to warn Duryodhana so many times, Vidura, Vyasadeva, you can't, Bhishmadev even, you can't beat them. You can't beat, when Krishna and Arjuna together, they're indestructible. But Duryodhana didn't want to, because he had that dream, and he was thinking he's got this upper hand.
Yeah, Mare Krishna, Rake Krishna, Mare Ke.
Yeah.
That if Krishna wants to kill someone, no one can protect them. But if Krishna wants to protect someone, no one can kill them.
Their army was almost twice the size.
Much bigger than that, right? Much more than that.
Well, I think it was twice.
It was much
I think
bigger
it was
than
like
twice.
13 Akshahinis to 7 or something.
Yeah. And one thing that one of the Bhima is mentioned in the text.
Bhima, no, he says. Well, I see right here. I see.
Our strength is immeasurable, and we're perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma. Whereas the strength of the Pandavas are carefully protected by Bhima.
Yeah, but he didn't. What I meant was he
didn't glorify them.
He didn't list the Pandavas like you have Arjuna, you have Bhishma, you have Bhima. Sorry, you have Yudhisthira and 2 brothers, Nakul and Sahadev. Because the reason, though, I read in Baladev Vidyabhushana's commentaries because they're so famous.
Yeah. It's like if you're standing outside, hey, there's the sun. Okay, yeah, right, thank you.
Yeah, we already know that
Yeah.
everyone knows them.
Yeah.
And another thing here is there's one name here that I was reading in the other commentary here is Yudamanyu.
Mm.
Yeah, that's Satyaki.
Yeah.
And
Right.
he's one of the only ones that survived the whole battle. He's so powerful. Krishna's grandson.
He's Krishna's commander.
He's related.
Yeah, in the Bhagavatam we see that they go to meet, when the Pandavas, when the rumor that the Pandavas were killed, was proved false, and they were in Hastinapura, then Satyaki also came with Krishna, and he was given amazing.
Yeah, but
reception.
he's related to Krishna. He's
Yeah.
Arjuna's disciple. He's Arjuna's pet disciple, basically. Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
You were saying how Bhishma was Atirati, and he was also very senior to Dronacharya, and so actually the way that Duryodhana refers to him is very political, and like you're saying, he's just like a demon that's expert at manipulating all these kinds of things. So instead of just directly saying Dronacharya, there's great heroes like Dronacharya and then Bhishma, he says Bhavan, which just means you. But then it makes him feel good, but it doesn't discount Bhishma. Then Bhishma, then he calls Bhishma and I name Bhishma there, grandfather Bhishma, and then Bhishma, he can also get fired up. And not what is this guy making an offense, telling this younger Brahmin before me, and there's another aspect of Duryodhana.
Yeah, political maneuver can be learned very well from the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in case. Yes.
About this, about a subject that you brought up about a guru who accepts unqualified desire, doesn't glorify you, mentioning about Srila Prabhupada. So I'm reminded of how Gaur Kishore Das Babaji is guru of Bhakti Siddhanta and the Parama Guru of Srila Prabhupada. And so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the son of a magistrate, a very aristocratic and one of the most learned young men of his time, and was conferred so many titles, and when he approached Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who was basically seemed like a vagabond, and hardly wore anything, didn't know how to read or write, and ate raw rice but he was a very elevated Paramahamsa, very enlightened soul. And when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur approached him, it stated in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava that Gaur Kishore Das Babaji just refused to indulge him. And that was new for Bhakti Siddhanta, because he was always treated with a lot of respect, even though he was younger, because of his erudition and scholarship. And but Gaur Kishore Das Babaji completely neglected, and that instilled faith in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that here is a real guru, because so many gurus in the past had tried to have Bhakti Siddhanta as their disciple, so that they could say, this is my disciple, and he is such a kind of a person.
He said that he thought he was either really, really puffed up, or that he had a lot of love for Krishna. Because he didn't care about my aristocratic learning. He thought, let anyone come at any time and I will beat them in any argument. I'm fully confident. Whoever it is, come challenge me. I'm so righteous. I have so many good qualities. Of course, it's a pastime. Of course, he's not puffed up, and he says a lot of his humility. He confesses that that's what he was thinking. But then with the shake with the jolt of my guru's presence, he shook me into the reality of the existence of Krishna consciousness.
And showed me how I'm actually a miserable, lowly, wretched soul, because I don't have love for Krishna.
Ultimately, if you don't have Krishna on your side, ultimately doomed. Maybe Krishna doesn't have to come to doom you personally. Maybe you're not so great, but you're pretty insignificant. So much so that time itself will come and destroy you. What's there? Why should Krishna bother? Time will come. Whatever you have will come and destroy you. Time I am, destroyer of all. So you may have a great car, You may have a great relationship. You know, you may have this, you may have that. Unless it's connected to Krishna, time is going to destroy it. And we've learned it over and over and over again. Unless we don't learn that lesson, it'll happen to us over and over and over again. So we have this human form of life. Labdhasa dulabhamitam sambhavante. That the human form of life is very rarely obtained, and one must take full precaution in order to use this human form of life, understanding the ultimate goal of life, which is Krishna, and develop a loving relationship with Krishna. Anything else? Yeah. Huh? You said something?
One.
Oh, Jai. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Sri Prabhupada ki Jai.
His Grace Mahotsaha Prabhu.
Jai.
Vanchaka.
I will have a. Now we will have kirtan, and then Brajananda will sing.
Can I chant?
Yeah, we chant like till 1:15, so about 20 minutes kirtan.
You got a harmonium?
Yes.
We already chanted Nama Om and all that.
So I can just chant Hare Krishna.
Chant Hare Krishna.
Just chant Hare Krishna.
So this is our
Dear brother.
brother Mama
Florida.
from Florida.
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 This is in New York for 2 weeks. Yeah, okay.
Someone wants some kirtans?
You play music.
I can play at the same time?
Yeah.
I bet you one.
I don't have 4 arms.
Not yet.
Oh, we're live?
Uh,
No.
One to see you again.
I'll restrain my.
You're gonna need a lot.
Yeah.
You got a fair chance. Sumo. Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna.